So give me reason to prove me wrong, to wash this memory clean. Let the thoughts cross the distance in your eyes. Give me reason to fill this hole, connect the space between. Let it be enough to reach the truth that lies across this new divide. Across this new divide. Across this new divide.
Hello everyone! So, since I watched Arcane Season 1 recently, it only makes sense that I'm now gonna watch Season 2 for the first time. And, oh, I cannot describe how I feel about this season in particular. But like last time, since like I already said, two amazing people brought me into Arcane League of Legends. So if I did season 1 podcast or video with them, it only made sense that I brought them out again. So welcome again, Mr. DC Gaming and Bannerang TV. Hi guys, how are you doing today?
I'm good.
Hi. Yeah, I'm good. Yeah, it's nice to be back doing season 2.
Yeah, I agree. So, like I said, now we'll talk about season 2 of Arcane League of Legends, and oh boy, I think I'm gonna have even hard time describing what I felt about this season than I thought about season 1. But let's maybe unpack it. First time of season 2 overall, since like I said in the review of season 1 ends on the massive cliffhanger, and I've seen some comments from that time from 2021 when the show has ended, that you get so high and invested into that show, and then the show is over for after the 9th episode, and you have to wait another years for next season. And people that got invested into this show when it came out had to wait next 3 years basically, because season 2 came out in November of 2024, which honestly it seems that since season 1 came out in November and season 2 came out in November, I guess we can say that November is the month of Arcane League of Legends now. But anyway, season 2 came out last year, and you think that would make me interested in watching season 1 for the first time, but somehow no, I still haven't watched that show by then. But yeah, I think you guys actually watched this season when it came out. But have you been excited for season 2 when it was announced and when this was basically hype cycle for it, or you were just catching up on Arcane, so you didn't have much time to be hyped for it? But what you guys' experience with hype for season 2 was?
Well, I'll go first. I didn't get into the show till both seasons were out. I only got into the show like in what was it? February, I believe. It wasn't until February that I got into the show. So yeah, I got into the show around February.
Yeah, I think I managed to get into it before November, because I definitely remember the wait. But like, I think it was, I want to say June, July maybe, last year that I got into it. And of course, like, I got excited about it, and then it became an obsession. And then, well, thankfully, I didn't have to wait as long as most people had. Instead of waiting like 3 years, I only had to wait a few months. But that wait for season 2 was long. But yeah, I managed to. I had a little bit of time before season 2 came out to get excited about it. But yeah, so a few months before season 2.
Yeah, and yeah, yeah, I was kind of right about it, and for what I and my experience was, I think the best thing because I got into this when the story was completed, when the both seasons are available on Netflix, and season one already has the Blu-ray, which I own actually. Season two Blu-ray comes out actually at the end of October, so that's pretty cool actually. So I was easy that I watched season one and then I was able to jump into season two just straight up. I mean, it wasn't just straight up because season one really took a hold on my emotional state, so I had to do a small break. But after that small break, I returned with watching season two. And like, what's not no, what Northy about season two, that some people online started to claim that season two was a disappointment and actually was not that good. And after watching this season, I have to say I don't understand what these people are talking about, because holy cow, this season 2 of Arcane not only is on the same level of awesomeness and quality as season 1, but also it might be even better and more convoluted and crazy than season 1, which season 1 already had some interesting ideas, but honestly season 1 was more grounded in terms of story and stuff like that, while season 2 goes completely off the rails with fantasy elements, with those epic kind of sci-fi but mostly fantasy elements, and expands the characters, expands the lore, and it's such a an incredible conclusion to this story that spanned this 18 episodes. Well, yeah, but I get ahead of myself. So, like last time, maybe you tell what the outline and the story of this season is. What is the Valkyrie, and then we go to questions for me about season 2. So, what is the story about this season, guys?
Well, this season mostly picks up from where season one left off. 'Cause after the cliffhanger on season one ended, we were introduced to some other storylines, such as
Well, yeah, we've mentioned it. Season one ended on the cliffhanger, Jinx blowing up the council chambers, and we again people had to wait 3 years. Thankfully, I only had to wait a few months. But yeah, season two begins right after that in the aftermath. But a few of the council members died. I think like three of them, as well as Kate's mum, which of course kind of drag is brings forward the motivation for Kate in Act One at least. And yeah, so it goes along like that. The Kate becomes angry and stuff. Tries to go after Jinx, while Vi grapples with the fact that she now seen what Jinx has done and thinks why she's fully gone. And yeah, so that's basically what Act One is. It's basically hunted down Jinx and stuff. And and Jinx meets in one of the episodes. I can't remember if it was one or two. A street kid named Isha, which I don't think we find out her name, but yeah, and she basically just tags along, and then at the end of Act One, she tries to I think the plan was like to try and take out the rest. Well, she says it herself, take out the rest of her family, and also like I don't know, give another FU to Piltover, and and then the big fight happens, which is very cinematic, and then Act One ends, and Act Two begins, which is basically I think a few months time skip, with Jinx and Isha living life in her Jinx's workshop and just enjoying it, while Kate and Vi had a breakup, and Vi becomes Street Fighter, and ring Pit Fighter, and Kate becomes more of a dictator. And then I think then some Jinxes, because Jinx has managed to relay some people accidentally on her as a symbol, and they get arrested by enforcers, which then Isha is one of them because she tries to inspire them by pretending to be Jinx in the shadows, and then they get arrested, Jinx freaks out a little bit because, well, it's the only person that had a sense of stability. Um, and yeah, she goes to break him out with the help of Savika. Then they go do that. They sneak in. Jinx gets offended with by her trousers, pants. But yeah, which is a great line. Um, and yeah, they break in and then they're singed. Um, calls on a beast that he's been working on, Warwick, which is the official beast name, and to try and break him out. Blah blah blah. Death, destruction happens, and then we realise, well, I guess you don't care about spoilers. It is Vanda back, and it's amazing. He recognises Jinx from a monkey bomb, or yeah, like bomb making thing. Anyway, and then it carries on to episode 3 or 2. I can't remember when it ends, but yeah, then they go. Jinx goes to get Vi. They go down to the cave system to get Vanda, and after some misunderstanding and sister bickering, they manage to find him, calm him down, and then go and search Victor, which I haven't actually mentioned at this point, and who's become basically Hex Jesus, and is healing people in his commune. Yeah, all the stuff happens. I don't. This is more of a description of the story than a synopsis. So I'm going to try and stop it there so you two can speak again. But yeah, and then Act 3 happens. Everything goes to hell basically in the end of Act 2. And yeah, but yeah, I'll let you two speak now.
Yeah, so yeah, like you already, like people watching it already can tell, season 2 is really packed with plot, with characters, and with developments, what's happening, and like it slowly builds into this giant thread at the end that it really goes out this way that it's not Batman thread anymore, it's Justice League or Avengers level thread at the end. And yeah, but I think we should sell some details for later, because trust me, I have also a lot to say about these subplots, and they are so good. So let's go maybe first with the questions that you prepared me about season 2, because I had for me for season 1 and now for season 2. So which one of you goes first in terms of the questions for me, how I experienced season 2 and what I thought my given topics here. So who's giving me the first question here?
I'll go. I know I already asked this last time, but you see, for the soundtracks used for this season, what did you think of the ones here?
Okay, so about the music. Well, honestly, music is on the same high quality than it was in season 1. Honestly, everything that was amazing in season 1 carries over to this season amazingly, because again, songs that are used at the end, in the end credits, or in certain scenes, or like montages, they really fit the scene, really give you feels, vibes, what you're supposed to feel, and they are amazingly written. And thankfully, because I was worried that in the opening they're gonna replay Imagine Dragons song Enemy in the opening, but thankfully no, they still kept it. The opening is different, but Enemy is still the main theme of Arcane, and so glad about it. And honestly, I'm gonna answer already that everything in this season is either on the same level or upgraded in terms of like, for example, visual style, animation, characters. Like everything here is just like ironed out to the perfection, and it's, oh my god, it's such an amazing experience here. So yeah, music and animation, characters, we're gonna get to characters later, but all of this is so still incredible and so high quality that I cannot imagine how many hours and blood, sweat, and tears had to went into this. And I understand why it took them 3 years to making season 2. So yeah, I still loved it, and it's still high quality. So next question. What was the next question for me?
Sorry, Matt, that's me. Well, I think I kind of figured this question out before, and I think I before you watched season 2, and I think I remember it right. But yeah, I know I choose to ignore it, but I feel like it has to be addressed. The controversial aspect of season 2, which I don't get whatsoever. I know both of you don't get to whatsoever, But in I don't know your honest opinion. I know they're both amazing, but do you think season one is better or not? I know I'm not saying you think season two tell, but you know what I mean. Like, are they both same in terms of I don't know preference or liking according to you?
Well, for me, honestly, it's kind of like the thing that I at first I was gonna think that season one is kind of like it's not as better. Both seasons are amazing, but at first, like after like first three episodes were like just like top tier amazing. I just could not say anything bad about it. I thought it was amazing follow up to that cliffhanger from season one. Then maybe in episode 4 it kind of at the end felt like okay, like kind of like where is this going, but then a reveal at the end of season of episode 4 like again hooked me in so much that I was so shocked for the reveal, and then didn't lost my attention completely. In fact, it just slowly pulled me in to the point that I was completely invested in this season, like heck, maybe even more than season one, because this show like goes into the great depths about some mystical elements. Because the first season is mostly a street level crime drama, kinda basically, with of course some fantasy elements, but mostly it was Batman's story. Well, in this there's also a lot of Batman DNA, more the Batman elements, but also in this season there's a lot of basically spiritual elements, there's a lot of fantasy elements, there's a lot of world ending kind of stakes involved, and it's more than just the Batman story. Giving the Batman also in, for example, in Scott Snyder's run, felt like I don't know how many invasions there was in Scott Snyder's Batman's run. There was Court of Owls, there was Joker going on mass murder spree in the family. Then it was revealed that in Zero Year there was both attacks from Red Hood gang and Riddler taking over the city. Then there was Endgame, Joker zombies attack basically. Then there was entire Bloom storyline. So like Gotham and Scott Snyder's Batman like seems like almost in couple of months spent, it just went from one apocalyptic invasion to another apocalyptic invasion. So Batman is no stranger to fighting these kinds of apocalyptic things on his own without even Justice League helping him. So yeah, but season 2 definitely involves more of these fantasy elements, less than crime drama and crime. Even I thought that season 2 was going to focus fully on Fallout from season 1, and it only kind of focuses on only in first 3 episodes, because what I predicted that Caitlyn is gonna try to hunt down Jinx with the help of Vi, and now somebody that's assembled basically a task force in order to find Jinx in the other and dismantle the corruption, dismantle the remaining crime lords who still are loyal to Silco. And there's of course power vacuum. After spoilers, Jinx in her psychosis accidentally killed Silco in that dinner table at the end of season 1. So I thought it's gonna be like most of season 2 that they're just going to do this basically cleanup after this power vacuum happened in that underworld. But no, it's only like episodes 1 to 3, and then we go into completely different direction. And honestly, I wasn't expecting that this season 2 is gonna go into the direction that was like, it started with basically another part of crime drama or Batman story, that when he goes to the war of crime, and then just ended with with apocalyptic ending finale. So it's like, no, I think both seasons have their pros in terms of story, but I think season 2 went even more insane in terms of their story. And I think season 2 I think is slightly better over season 1, but I still love season 1 the same. So then it's hard to choose both between those two seasons, but I don't think either seasons are lesser than each other, and I think both of those seasons are like on the same level of quality, and it's one of the best shows, animated and live action, I've ever seen, and that's straight up fact, and that's my take on it. So yeah, that's my answer. Yeah, so that's
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I agree. I don't. They are both equally the best in terms. I don't see like thing is like I like don't really have. I can't remember if I've said this before, but I don't really have like unless something disrespects the source material that I'm a fan of, I don't really hate or dislike any show or movie. Like, sure, I have things that I love and like, Arcane being a perfect example, but like I don't really hate anything. So yeah, like it was definitely
Horror
kind
movies.
of
You hate horror movies.
Yeah, well, that's just because I'm a pussy and hate jump scares.
Yeah,
But
I get it. Don't worry.
but yeah, uh, but yeah, yeah, it would have been very, very hard to n- make it me not like Arcane season two. But yeah, I think it lived up to the hype of season one, and it is just as good. But yeah, I am. Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I agree fully. So, do you have any more questions for me? Or shall we already have more questions?
I
Or
have a question.
yep.
What did you think of the reveal that Warwick was Vander?
Well, that was something that I wasn't expected. Like, generally, like I really thought Vander is dead and he's never going to come back. And that, but like, of course, I was thinking what happened to his body. Like, did the enforcers took him to the morgue? Did someone to take this body? And something like that, but no. What happened with Vander was something
Because
that
actually,
yeah, something that I wasn't freaking expecting. The context for this is that in season one we met this mysterious character named that in this season is revealed his name is Corin Revek, who was one of the scientists in Piltover's academy, but he was kicked out due to him doing unethical and illegal experiments. So he basically went to underworld, undercity, basically underground to continue his experiments. And season one we had flashback with young Victor meeting him, and he's at one point horrified that he's going that scientist was going to do anything to keep that creature that he made alive. And we didn't know what was his deal, who he is. Actually, like, we still don't know. Like, he's still, I think, kind of mystery how he looks.
I want to say this.
Yeah.
So you see, Warwick, if you know about the Devastator from DC,
Yeah.
okay, this is how I completely feel. Warwick is the like, in a way, is kind of like the Devastator of Arcane. You know, once was human, but is like a monster because Devastator is a Batman that became Doomsday, though, like Doomsday, so he became a monster. Whereas Warwick is Vander, and he turned into a monster.
Yeah, that's exact. Yeah, you're actually right. Actually, I mean, this Rebecca is basically like Bruce Wayne from that reality that he wants to, because it's revealed that not only is it revealed his real name, but also that he created the Shimmer, that the drug that's basically Venom or Cobra Venom from Young Justice in Arcane universe, and he was the one who created this drug that Silk later used to sell it on the street and make people addicted to it. And in this reveal that why he did all of this is because he has daughter that he's dying named Oriana, I think was her name, and he does anything to keep her alive, and Shimmer was the part of the effort to keep her alive. But so he's also kind of like Victor Freeze or Mr. Freeze, that he wants to, like, Victor Freeze wants to keep his wife alive and find the cure, and Revek wants to do exactly the same thing only with his daughter. And like you already said, he basically grabbed Vander's dead body and mutated him into this, brought him back to life, but as this big monstrosity that's basically a combination of Hulk and Wolverine, because with Hulk that he's unhinged and monstrous, and that he's buff, and with Wolverine's because his hair and beard is kind of like the same like Wolverine's. And like he's saying that while he was able to bring him back, he wasn't able to bring his mind back. So it also gives me vibe of Lazarus Pit. That is most incarnations also stated that if someone is brought back from Ra's al Ghul's Lazarus Pit, his mind won't be the same. In fact, he could be damaged, so that person wouldn't be the same person as he was when he died. So yeah, and that part when Jinx fights this monstrosity and she accepts her fate that she's gonna die, and then that monster says her name, Powder, and like it's like what? And it's like was like so shocked. This is Vander, and it's like holy crap! I wasn't expecting that Vander was going to come back in such a horrific way, because like his fate here was worse, and it's bad enough that he died because he took Shimmer in order to to save Vi, and then he died on the street because his head was broken, and that because he overdosed on that drug. But now he's also brought back to life as this monstrosity with only like fractions of memories from his old life. Like he still feels and remembers his daughters, but the rest is just like completely mess inside of his head. And I love the detail that when Powder or Jinx sees that Vander's alive, she first goes to Vi in order to get her help in order to track Vander, because she knows Vander won't hurt them, and he kind of remembers them, even though he's in such a broken state. Like, wow, that's this reveal, this whole reveal is such a tragic and shocking reveal that I wasn't freaking expecting. So yeah, Vander being alive and being Warwick, like I couldn't like, wasn't like expecting that this is gonna be Vander resurrected from the dead, and being such a sad and depressing story. So yeah, like as if Vi wasn't destroyed mentally and Jinx not enough, they now have to grapple with the idea that their father is now a monstrosity, that he only has speckles of his older self remaining. What was left is like unstoppable monster. So yeah, that was such a shocking event. I wasn't spoiled thankfully beforehand, and I was so shocked when I saw that scene at the end of episode 4 when Jinx was extending her death at the hands of Warwick, and then she finds out that this is Vander when he says her name. Like, holy crap, I wasn't expecting that, definitely. So yeah, that was shocking reveal. What more can I say?
Yeah, it was. I mean, I always look at like theory videos and like predictions and all that stuff before like a second season or more seasons come of a show that I like. And yeah, before November, I did look at a lot. So it was like I wasn't like I wouldn't say I was surprised by it because like the theories said, oh, this is what happens in the games. It's been predicted and all that stuff. And that, but again, I was still like surprised. I was surprised and not surprised at the same time because I expected it because I theories and they're based on the games and stuff. But also like, yeah, I was still surprised that it happened, and in that way too because like at the end of Act Two, he at the beginning of Act Three, he doesn't survive and. But like, so it's kind of like bittersweet. Like Jinx there, but and Vi did manage to say goodbye to Vander properly. But again, he was used as a battery for Victor's tech stuff, which is also sad. But yeah, I think he's like my favorite. Well, not my favorite, but like I think my tier list of favorites it goes Jinx, Vi, and then him. So yeah, it was. It was sad, but also good that he managed to say goodbye to his adopted daughters.
Yeah, I fully agree with that. So yeah, you have any more questions? Maybe Miss DC, do you have more questions for me about season 2?
I don't. I only managed to think of one, but yeah.
Okay, so I answered all Batarangs questions. And what about Mr. DC? You have some questions, or we go with talking like headlines about season 2?
I don't think I have any questions. I don't know. No questions.
Okay, so since I answered all questions, I think we can get to more talking about the rest of season 2, because I have to say, like, last time you asked me what my favorite characters are in this show, and I said that it's gonna be either Vi, Jinx, or Caitlyn, because all three those girls are like very awesome characters, very well developed. But it was kind of hard to say because all the characters were awesome in season 1. Like we already said about Jay Stalis and Victor, those scientists that were talking about doing they were making hex tech. And also I forgot to mention other characters, but those characters weren't like important in previous season because they were like only second, like third in a second, I think third characters. But for example, I really love the character of Professor Heimerdinger, who was a part of the council, and he was kind of like it was pretty interesting character. Like he was this kind of smaller character, and you remind me a lot of Master Yoda, but simply because he's old, wise, and he's really old, yet he's still somehow he's still in its prime. And he was part of the council. He was a scientist in Piltover's academy, and he was basically let go of his role in the council in the season 1, and he went to Zone in order to help others there. And then other characters is Echo, that character who was who was Vice and Jinx's childhood friend. He grew up to be basically kind of like a resistance member, but not exactly. He basically created an oasis for people with that big tree in some hidden corners of Undercity, in order to some people who don't want to suffer the consequences of Silco's reign and the drugs addictions. He created basically a paradise for them, and he also regularly dismantled shipments and operations done by Silco's man. So yeah, and he was pretty cool as well. And also his voice actor, I don't know who voiced him, but his voice actor really reminded me of Miles Morales. And honestly, since Shamik Moore, the voice actor for Miles Morales in Spider-Man movies, had gone in little bit on controversy with, I think, Haley Steinfeld. So yeah, if they decide to recast him,
Yeah, like
yeah.
if they have to replace, I'm not saying I want them to, but if they did have to replace the voice of Miles for well, not the sequel, it's definitely a sequel to the sequel, the best option would be Echo's voice actor, because they're both like again, multiple moments in the story, I said, oh, that's something Miles would do or act, or you know what I mean, because they're both young fighters, and trying, I don't know, then I wouldn't say Echo's living up to a legacy, but he's trying to build one like Miles. So yeah, I think I agree.
When we talk about replacing voice actors, we have to remember that like we have characters like voice actors like, I'm using an example like Kevin Conroy isn't here anymore, but we have Troy Baker and Roger Craig Smith and the voice actor for Batman and Legacy of the Dark Knight. They'll be like the ones to be like, no, I don't want to say replaced, but they'll be the ones to play Batman because Kevin's not here anymore.
I would say like that he could like how the Batman legacy was in the Dark Knight. They're taking up the legacy, and like I said, the idea of Batman is greater than the one sole person. But I agree. But
I agree fully. So like I said, like if Miles Morales is gonna be recasted for that controversy in Beyond the Spider-Verse, Echo voice actor definitely will fit his role. Especially that he already had a chemistry with Haley Steinfeld, who voices Spider-Gwen in those movies, because Echo had a lot of interactions with Vi in the first season, like even in this one also had some lines. So yeah, he already worked with Haley Steinfeld, so they will be perfect for that. And one last character that I thought was worth a mention was a character named Ambessa Medarda, who was Mel's the mother, and in season 1 already was clear that her relationship with Mel, her daughter, is not the healthiest, and already that she is a very shady person, what she wants to do and stuff like that. But nothing. But in season 1, like, well, there was some suspicions. Like, I had suspicion that Mel is gonna be a really nasty person, but no, Mel actually turned out to be a really, really nice person. She really supported Jace in his struggles. She really wanted to help him with Hextech and with him in the position of being a council member and stuff like that. But her mother was definitely wanting to use Hextech for war, for her personal goals, but nothing what she does in season 1 compares to what she done in season 2. Because we didn't mention those characters because, like I said, they weren't integral to season 1 story, but in season 2, oh boy, they have so much to do. Like, for example, like, let's go with Ambessa for the first, the whole thing starts that after that Jinx attack, like I already said, Jinx changed things forever after, when she attacked council chambers, and Mel thankfully survived, and it's later explained why she survived. Jay survived, but sadly her Caitlin's mom died, and 2 other council members died, and Ambessa really decided to took that opportunity to turn basically Piltover into regime-like state.
You said like turning it. When you said the word regime, my mind went to injustice.
Yeah, but it's kind of the same thing. Like with her orchestrating the attack of the people from Zone in order to, because it was revealed at the end of episode 3 that Madarada orchestrated this attack at the memorial. She basically orchestrated Caitlyn's descent into vengeance, and she basically poisoned Caitlyn's mindset in order to become the commander and basically a dictator. But in secret, actually, the Medarda was the one who pulled other things, and all of this is the fact that she also hides some secrets because she basically is pursued by some secret society or cult known as Black Rose, and that cult also kidnaps Mel. And while Ambessa worries about her, she kind of like doesn't want to get involved, and yeah, and at the end, she only thinks like I think she only thinks she wants to improve her army and wanted to destroy that cult. And at the end of the season, she finds the way that she finds that with Victor, which we get to him later, because his development is such crazy in this season, that she could do the entire army. And of course at the end she goes face to face with her daughter and Caitlyn, and of course she's almost consumed by Black Rose, which we're gonna get again later. There's a lot to say, and she dies in Mel's arms, and with she's finally admitting that her daughter is better than her. It's also like, while she's an evil woman, she also has a like interesting life, like Silco. I already said Silco in the first season, he was dangerous, he was evil person because he flooded the city with drugs in order to have his influence spread all of the cross zone. He was manipulative, he was evil, he would kill you if you get in his way, and yet he also had some layers to him. He had qualities that was kind of thinking, oh, he actually has some really messed up reasoning why he's doing it. Like, for example, well, that he still holds Vander in high regard despite him killing him, and Vander almost killing him in that river, and that's why he was holding the grudge at the beginning of the series. And also that he actually treated Jinx very well, not like abusive. No, he was actually good father to her, surprisingly. So with Ambessa, it was the same thing, that while she was evil person, that she wanted to utilize Hextech and basically get control of the zone for her own goals. She also has some things inside her that make her question something. Like, I remember that scene in, I think, episode 5 when Medarda says to Caitlyn that Caitlyn may be even stronger than her because she maybe has the power to forgive, but that's something that she doesn't have, but that Medarda speaks of herself. So yeah, Medarda was like very interesting antagonist for this season, and her story arc, like how it ended and how it tied all things together, was amazing. Like, Medarda was really amazing antagonist here, I have to say. And speaking of other characters, like I said, I talk about Echo, and Echo in this season is just like has whole another crazy subplot. Like both him and Professor Heimdegger go to Jace into his lab because Tree, for some reason, is kind of like is ill and it's dying or something like that, and three of those people come to the conclusion that it's because they overuse the Hextech technology, and the Arcane gods are not happy about it, so that's why the Jace's tree is kind of dying. And they then go into this basically reactor at the base of the city, and what happens there is just kind of something completely insane. That this basically, it turns out that they accidentally, when they was using Hextech to power the city, is that they created an anomaly that they basically go into a trippy state. And what happens is basically multiversal story, because Echo and Heimdegger are thrown into a reality where shocking thing is discovered, that Powder is actually stable and she's doing alright, and she's with Echo. Everyone is alive. Zone and Piltover are in complete peace. There's basically utopia, where with one exception, that Vi actually died in that assignment because the whole series started that Vi, Jinx, Clagor, and Milo go to that Jace's laboratory to steal something, and that will turn out to be Hextech, which sets the entire story of this series into motion. And in this version of reality, Vi actually dies in that heist, and then Hextech never gets invented, and this reality looks completely different. It's basically utopia. Like, sure, I'm not saying it's perfect, because like I said, Vi is dead and Jinx blames herself for it, but she moved on from it and she's with Echo. And it's basically a peaceful reality, and Jace Styles is thrown at the same time thrown into a reality where basically it's just apocalyptic wasteland. Everyone is dead, everything is covered into this kind of this strange rainbow substance and stuff like that, and everyone is turned into this statue-like robots who kinda are alive, but not quite. And Jace realizes what all their inventions actually led to the apocalypse of the entire world. Who is responsible is exactly we'll learn soon enough, but yeah, that subplot was crazy. Like when that entire episode when Echo is in that basically better reality, that is another timeline. Basically, for a while he took place of that reality's version of himself. And that's basically similar to Pretends to Dream episode of Batman the Animated Series, where the episode also focused on that Bruce Wayne wakes up in a reality where his parents are never died. Someone else is Batman. He basically has a dream life with Selina and his family, stuff like that. And also, as a Star Wars fan, also I had a correlation with Star Wars The Clone Wars finale of Season 6, because in Season 6 finale, Yoda at Sith's homeworld also gets a vision or basically a reality where the war never happened and everyone in Jedi Temple are alive, peaceful. Even Count Dooku is still a good guy, and Qui-Gon Jinn is also alive. But of course, in those two cases, were like that. But in Batman's case, it was all hallucination and manipulation by Mad Hatter. While in Star Wars Clone Wars, it was all Sith's ghost manipulation tried to break Yoda's spirit. So no, but in this case, these are actually different worlds, different timelines, which reflect different outcomes of certain things. So it's like, wow, it was so crazy subplot. That's impressive how they managed to sneak in the multiverse story without turning this storyline into multiverse story. That is freaking impressive, and that's how multiverse stories were also supposed to be, that they reflect some interesting things about the characters, like what would happen if this thing went differently. So I hope there is a reality where both Vi and Jinx are together and they are never separated, stuff like that. So I really hope there's a reality somewhere where that's happening, and if that's the reality as well, that means my Batman Arcane story and also maybe canon. Yes, I'm glad that
That's our reality.
Yeah.
Making that reality. I thought at this point in the video, I just said that we're all going to be, me, Hedgehog, and CM will be working together to make our own DC X Arcane like series for like fan fictions. So there's that to look forward to. Just thought I'd say that.
Yeah, exactly. We gotta do that. Yeah.
And by CM he means me, because on Discord I go by CM and not Batarang. But yeah, we're all working on our what if scenario, and we'll look forward to finishing that off.
Yeah, exactly. So yeah, but for me that was actually insane and tragic yet interesting to watch. I said, and I think that also what happens in those subplots is that while Heimerdinger and Echo created this machine in order to go back to the real timeline, and Professor Heimerdinger kind of sacrifices himself. Like, it's not clear if he died or he just teleported somewhere else, but his fate is left ambiguous, and Echo actually creates basically a time loop device using the fragments of the Hextech. Like, he can rewind time to only 9 seconds, because it's established if he wins more than 9 seconds, something really bad will happen to person Nero or right overall, and that actually is used as the final blow in the finale. So I love this kinds of setup and payoffs in this basically subplots or filler story and stuff like that. So yeah, that was pretty cool. But like when I was talking about the secondary characters, no secondary character goes for more transformation and more to do and more like shocking transformation than Victor does in this season. Because, like, giving context, in first season Victor and Jace create Hextech, and it's revealed that Victor is sick and dying because he grew up in Undercity, and air in that area is not very clean, so he's basically dying, and they wanted to use Hextech not only to give it to the people to fix the reality, but also that they wanted to help Victor to fix him. But it seems that Victor in the first season, in the process of perfecting that hex core, that basically a more powerful version of that orb that contains the power of Arcane, basically accidentally killed that girl that she was working in a lab, and she kind of had a crush on Victor. And at the end of season 1, Victor asks Jace in order to destroy the hex core at all costs. But then the attack from Jinx happens and Victor is dying. So Jace, rather than destroy the hex core, he infuses it with Victor. And throughout the first episode, Victor is like kind of in carbonite or like Nora Freeze, basically, because he's like this in status thing that he's basically like kept alive by this whatever hex core created. But then he wakes up and he basically becomes a god, like I said, Jesus, Arcane Jesus, basically. But also basically he becomes a god, and he finds a new purpose by going to the Undercity and healing everyone from pain, from suffering, and mostly from Shimmer's addiction. But and he actually becomes kind of a celestial being with him studying the secrets of the universe. And that's where in some part of the season, Vi and Jinx go to him in order to help for him to fix Vander's mind, and actually he helps them because he generally wants to help these people. And then Jace goes and destroys, and I first thought, why Jace did you do it? But then it's revealed in that alternate reality, like I said, that there is that with Victor's pursuit of basically perfection and curing everyone from afflictions and stuff like that, he will destroy the world and stuff like that. So yeah, the Jace wants to stop it at all costs, but then Medarda uses Victor in order to gain this ultimate power, basically, and Victor infuses himself with everyone who was healed by him and transforms into these kind of robots, like I already said, kind of automatons or droids or what, I don't know how to talk about it, these beings that are like fused with his energy. And the climax of the entire series is Victor wanting to get into that hex reactor in order to gain power to finally get rid of inflictions, pain, suffering around the world. And it's kind of like tragic that in the process Victor loses himself to this power, and while his goals are notable, he when he at the end Echo basically uses that device in order to snap him back to reality for a minute. Jace convinces him that what Victor tries to do is not good because he kind of takes away free will from people, and that imperfections are also what makes people special, and that those imperfections made Victor who he was. And with that realization, Victor decides to let go of everyone, and with Jace, they both kind of become celestial beings, and I guess they become one with the universe. Like I said, it's really ambiguous what happens to them at the end, but the big reveal also, because in the season 1, we have a retrospection with young Jace Tallis that he was in some snowy area, his mother was dying, and then some mage some wizard turns up, and he teleports them away, and that what begins his fascination with arcane stuff like that. And turns out that this wizard, this cloak wizard, was Victor from another timeline and from another point in time. Like, holy crap, that was such a... That Victor, and every timeline he does this thing in order to... And he saw different outcomes. Like, holy crap, I wasn't expecting that Victor was the one who kind of set this story into motion with Hextech and stuff like that. And what happens with Victor is very interesting, and that he becomes final boss not because he's evil, but because he wanted to help everyone, but that thing that he wanted to help because he warped his mind to the point that he basically wanted to take away free will from everyone. But luckily Jace convinces him to let everyone go, and he joins with him in the... I guess they join with you. I guess, like I said, it's very ambiguous what happened to them at the end of season 2, but yeah, what do you think about Victor's subplot and how he evolved from season 1 to the end of season 2? Because I think it's crazy evolution what happened to him. But what do you think?
Yeah, and he definitely got amped up, and it was good. Like, overall, I don't want to say antagonist, because like it was still like he thought what he was doing was good. It was evolving everyone, high evolution, and stuff. But his transformation from like the sick Undercity kid who made friends with I think Singed and his pet and stuff like that, and then he grows up, joins with Jace, creates Hex Tech, because to be honest, without him, Jace well, I wouldn't have got as far. And yeah, it's a great transformation. To be honest, like all the characters in the show go on big transformations, whether it's, well, I wouldn't say big. Some of them are small, some of them are big. Like um, Soko, he's still like I don't know. No, I wouldn't say he's evil because I don't think in Arcane any characters evil. They all have their own reasons, or like at least have qualities that are good. But yeah, with Soko, he goes from at being well, I think actually when he first saw Powder, when Jinx when she was Powder, he had a knife in her hand, looking like he was gonna kill her. But then she jumps in his arm, and then all that stuff, and then he evolves into her father figure and stuff. And yeah, every character has a evolution, if you will. But yeah, Victor definitely goes on one of the bigger ones, and him and Jace, yeah, like I said, I don't know. It's not confirmed what happens in the end. I presume I like to think that they maybe like, I don't know. Well, I wouldn't say they died more or less, but like their essence and body were like transported and settled into the universe to stop everything and stuff. But yeah, I like Victor's arc in the show because like yeah, he wasn't like a full on villain, but you still wanted to stop him because he would end up destroying everything. But yeah, that's my opinion. Mr. DC, what do you think?
It's interesting.
Yeah, I think
Yeah,
definitely it is. But I think we should. But we talk about secondary characters because I admire about season 2. Like because why I said I think main characters in season 1 were three certain girls. We're gonna get to them. But in season 2, a lot of those secondary and third characters, I think. And thirdly characters, I think they got a lot of development, a lot of interesting storylines, a lot of interesting things happen to them, but I think nothing represents evolution of the characters more than, of course, let's go through three main girls: Caitlyn, Vi, and Jinx. I think we should start with Caitlyn because Caitlyn has. No, I'm not saying like the least development, but she has. I think she's not like the more focused. Like her interest, like her development is that at first she wants revenge on Jinx that she killed her mother in that attack, so she wants to kill her, and at the end of episode 3 she wants to murder her, but Vi stops her, so they have a fallout, and Caitlyn is manipulated by Medardar in order to be a dictator, basically, or commander, in order to track down Jinx and Piltor because basically the regime stayed. And then, but at the end of the day, she still didn't fail like fully in that role, so she betrayed Medardar for Vi. And at the end, she joined with all the good guys in order to fight Medarda, her army, and Victor, and at the end she sacrificed her eye in order to destroy the runes that are on Medarda's arm, in order Mel to finally basically did fatality on her. So yeah. But yeah, I think, and at the end, I'm glad that while she lost an eye, hey, she's now like Nick Fury or Dr. Bate director for two members in the audience who actually watched Kim Possible, and she's at least happy with Vi, so I'm happy for her. And that's pretty cool that she while she did got consumed by revenge and she almost ruined her life, but at the end of the day she still came back to her love of her life, that was Vi, and I'm so happy that yes, they finally had a kiss and they finally had some intimate time together, and I'm so happy for Caitlyn and Vi. But Vi is like is still incredible. Vi is still amazing protagonist. Her development at the beginning when she joins with Caitlyn and that squad in order to track down Jinx, because at the beginning she says that she knows that Powder is gone, that there's only Jinx, but I think even at the end she still believed that Powder is still inside Jinx, or at least Jinx is not fully evil as everyone is kept telling around her. And when she had that breakup with Caitlyn, she basically became a cage father for a couple of months, I think, and she got really drunk. She really became really sober, and then when Vander was revealed to be alive, she reconciled with Jinx, and I'm gonna get to her later, but yeah, but at the end she regained her strength, and finally now when everything was win, despite some tragedy that happens at the end, we're gonna get to that later. She's at least happy now with Caitlyn by her side, and that's so satisfying and so cool to see for Vi that she finally has some peace and some happiness in her life after all the pain, all of the suffering, and all of self-tormenting that she endured over the past, I don't know, 6 years. That was time jump between season 1 and season 1, episode 3 and 4. So yeah, Caitlyn and Vi have amazing development here. The characters are pushed to the limit in this season, and I loved watching it. And also I adored Vi's suit or costume that she had in where she was cage fighter. That kind of black aesthetic really remind me of the Batman, Robert Pattinson's The Batman, with his all emo aesthetic basically. So yeah, that's the Caitlyn and Vi are amazing in this season as well. So what do you guys think about those two for now? Because to which no character we get soon enough in separate paragraph. But what do you think about development of Vi and Caitlyn this season? And which one you like the most here?
Yeah, I do like both of them. They are both good characters. I think I like Vi a little more, but that's just because she reminds me of like you said, the especially with her pit fight look. But I think it's just like she's the Batman like look, and also in my I don't think I've told you this before, but I created like a story where I basically like it was like a mirror of Arcane, and I basically took on the role of Vi in that. So I'm also biased in that sense. But yeah, both their characters are good. I like their story and romance has developed well, and it's like. Yeah, and I know I remember seeing some reactions to their intimacy scene, and I know people have been waiting for that and their kiss as well. But yeah, I think both their characters were good, and yeah, I did. Yeah.
Yeah, and what about
Yep.
Mr. DC? What do you think about them?
I think that the character development is Vi, Kate, and Jinx's character development is my favorite in any TV show ever because of the amount of character development they go through. It is absolutely incredible.
Yep, I agree. And
Yeah.
speaking about her, should finally talk about our main girl herself that we all adore and we love to sim for, Jinx. And no, I have to say, while you asked me in season 1 that I thought my favorite characters in Arcane are Vi, Caitlyn, and Jinx. But with season 2, no, Jinx is my favorite character because holy cow, I think Vi was the protagonist of season 1, but Jinx is the protagonist of season 2. There's so much development with her done here that's so insane. Like from the beginning, we at the beginning of second episode, we see Jinx basically burying Silco's body in the lake or that river there where he was almost killed all those years ago by Vander, and then he showed her this place and basically helped her find confidence in herself, stuff like that. She buries him here and she kind of wants nothing to do with this whole underworld crime scenario because she kind of sees it as pointless and she only wants to watch it all burn. She kind of has like sweet talk with Sevika because while she was not on great terms with Sevika in season 1, I'm glad that those two actually find some common ground in this season to the point that Jinx even makes her a new robotic arm because Vi destroys her first one at the end of season 1. So yeah, but then, of course, we know that I have to say, while I really like in this season, there's only one new character introduced. That new character is Isha, a small girl that I think she's mute because she doesn't talk in throughout the entire season, and she only communicates and not with words and stuff like that. But no, she kind of finds Jinx accidentally, and Jinx at first she doesn't want to take care of her, but soon she kind of bonds with her, and I think it was nicely done. That I think this is what makes Jinx slowly trying to become more stable person because she kind of not only takes up the role of big sister and she kind of sees perspective of Vi that Vi was big sister and she was trying to keep her safe, and now Jinx is in the same role that she wants to keep Isha safe. And after episode 3, after that thing, what happened, stuff like that, in that tunnel, she she basically doesn't want to do nothing because, like you already mentioned, Jinx. Recap of the story: Jinx basically becomes a symbol of revolution and fighting against oppression from Piltover's army. But Jinx herself doesn't want to have nothing to do. So I have to say, this storyline is basically a small plus subplot in this story that Jinx doesn't want to have any part in this rebellion and this protests by. That she doesn't want to be seen as a symbol. She just wants to basically lay down and die. But. But she also find, but like I said, she finds solace and kind of purpose in Isha. But the storyline, what they did here is basically Joker 2, but actually good. Like, think about it, this is exactly the same storyline with main crazy character that didn't inspiring a revolution, but that character doesn't want to be an icon or an icon of a revolution. But this Arcane Season 2 did this storyline 1,000 times better than whatever Joker 2 last year tried to do. So it's kind of insane that in the same year we not only got the really good Penguin show that is better story about Batman villain than Joker 2, but also Arcane Season 2 does better job at this storyline than Joker 2 ever did. So sorry Todd Phillips, but you screwed up, and writers in Arcane did your job much better. But yeah, that's what I say. But the biggest development, what happens, like I said, when she finds out that Vander is actually alive, only transformed into this monstrosity, first thing she does, she goes to Vi in order for get her help in order to track Vander down. And they kinda, at first, they're of course hostile towards each other. Like mostly Vi. Jinx is like kinda shooting the shit most of the time. Like honestly, generally, while this season is more darker, Jinx, she's genuinely funny of times in this season. Like for example, that Pants comment or that moment when she tries to show middle finger, but she can't because in episode 3 that finger gets cut down. It's just like she's genuinely funny. She's genuinely funny in this season. Like I have to say, like she also has nice one-liners in season 1, but definitely in this season she's much more funny, more interesting, and yet she also has depth because when that big battle happens with Army and when Victor is basically injured by Jace. Vander goes once again on that resurrected Vander goes on this destruction spree, and Isha basically sacrificed herself in order to knock him down, and Jinx is so destroyed by it that she not only surrender herself to the authorities, but when Vi wants to get her, help her and ask for help in the final battle, she not only she's still shocked that Vi still cares for her, but also that she locks Vi in that cellar, I think to keep her safe. And Jinx, she wants to kill herself, and she actually does, but the Echo uses that device to stop her from doing that and he convinces her to join the final, and at the end Vi and Jinx fight together with Vander, and at the end they finally are together, but sadly Vander is still when Victor is when Victor is gone and he lets go of everyone, Vander is still on the rampage, and Jinx basically hangs by a thread with Vi and Vander on her leg. So Jinx decides to let go, and Vi is again so sad and destroyed about it. Like I was also screaming with Vi that no, at the end, when they finally reconcile, when they're finally together, Jinx again dies. Only for real this time, or is it? But yeah, when that scene happens, when the Jinx sacrifice happens, I screamed with Vi and cried so much. Like that was the development that Jinx goes through this entire season is such crazy and easily made this character the best in Arcane. Like all the characters are great, but Jinx took the cake and then basically aided with this season. I have no more to say about that, but what do you guys think about her development, and do you love it as much as I do?
Oh, definitely. I love it. We love it as much as you do. Spoiler alert, Jinx is not dead.
Yeah, it's practically confirmed because there's so much evidence for it. The blimp at the end, Caitlyn at the end looking at the blueprints and noticing the air vents are by where Jinx died, meaning she could have used her shimmer powers to super speed out of there. And and also at the beginning of the story in season 1, Powder says she would one day want to ride one of the blimps, and it would make a great full circle moment if she was in that blimp at the end, which, yeah, I do think she is. So, yeah, she's alive.
Yeah, actually, I thought like I really had that really when I learned that, because that was that like I didn't catch that basically two things that you said, one those plans of events and that blimp at the end with whole series ending with basically glitch from Jinx basically, and like the entire program basically had an error, stuff like that, and Jinx was responsible for that. But yeah, I didn't catch the two on it because I was so overwhelmed how that finale went down. But then when I learned from you guys that director confirmed that Jinx is alive and she was mostly like on that, I was thinking, you clever girl, like I was here screaming with Vi, crying and saying no, screaming why did she have to die, and I was already ready to put her in the Hall of Fame of fictional characters that died, but we never forget them. Like for example, Tony Stark's Iron Man is still in that place in my heart. But then I learned that Jinx is actually alive, and I was like I don't know if you watched Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles from 2012, but there was the scene at the end where Leo sacrificed himself in order to keep Crank Prime at bay, in order to help his brothers and April escape. And they think that Leo died because Technodrome, that alien spaceship, crashed into the ocean, and everyone thinks Leo died. And Raph says that he's sorry that he was so harsh, and if he would do it all over again, he will be nicer. And then turns out that Leo is actually alive. So it's basically the same moment. I was saying, Jinx, you clever girl, I was screaming for you, and you're still alive. But hey, it's in character that she trolled us that well. So yeah, but yeah, like I said, Jinx is the best part of season 2. Her development and her relationship with Vi is really amazingly done here. And I'm glad that Vi and Jinx managed to reunite and managed to actually fight together despite all of what happened to her. The Vi never gave up on her, Powder was never truly gone, and I'm so glad for it. That ending actually is not that dark when you think about it. It's really optimistic what happens at the end, and wow, that is so I cannot put it in words how incredible it was, honestly.
Yeah, it was. And yeah, I mean, I think also it fits the story. Um, like if Jinx does survive, because like she's been wanting to offer herself the whole time. So like she finally at the end, like accepts and embraces life again, and realizes no, it's not all over, and there's still good stuff out there. And yeah, she leaves Piltover to start over fresh. And yeah, it's like good.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Mr. C, you want to add something about this?
Yeah, so when I heard when people were saying about Jinx dying, I was like, nah, they're not. They said that, Jinx is inspired by Harley Quinn and Joker and all that. So whenever I heard that Jinx was going to sacrifice herself, however, I was like, nah, fam, it ain't as it seems. She's alive. I did not believe that she was dead. And Blue and Prue and bam, I'm right.
Yeah.
I proved I was right. I didn't believe it for a second. Not for a second did I believe that Jinx was dead.
Yeah.
Yeah, me too. Me too. And I actually I was managed to, like, honestly I was kind of like it was trolled by it because I actually thought that she's died, but you were right, and I was too invested because I think honestly like the ending like already I think I already said what is about the final battle, that Victor wants to infuse himself with the reactor and basically evolve everyone into this higher power in a process cause an apocalypse of the entire world. And at the end when everything seems lost, Echo uses that device, like I said, to basically snap Victor out of it, and Jace convinces him to basically stop all of it, and reveals that's what Victor from that another timeline stated to him, that where every equation is now solved, it's basically nothing. It's nothing more to do. It's just like this emptiness inside. And it was said that those imperfections make people what they are. And yeah, because I think this entire season is kind of interesting with it talking about life, about death, about imperfections in people. And I love that because this is really cool story. Like Batman stories also had like a lot of those moral or those philosophical questions about life, purpose, motivation, scars that make us us who we are and stuff like that. So like I love the story about it, and the ending is just perfect. Like I don't care about the ending of the ending. A very high profile show is hard. I think most of the shows, almost series that were really hyped, sometimes rarely have a decent conclusive ending. Like recently Squid Game season 3 came out, and that wasn't a good ending. Like I think it was fine, decent, but compared to the season 1 and even season 2 Squid Game, season 3 and that ending overall was not that good. And less I talk about Joker 2's ending, the more I think. But Arcane season 2 somehow managed to do finally an optimistic ending, because honestly I'm sick of tired of being downer endings that nothing is going to change, everything is going to be bad all the time. So I know this ending is so optimistic. Everyone almost like only one person that was kind of died. Everyone is alive. Victor and Jace, I think they are now in higher power and they're exploring. I believe they're exploring the cosmos and this entire reality as celestial beings. I think that's my headcanon at least. Like I said, Jinx reunited with Vi, but she sacrificed herself in order to save her. Vi is happy with Caitlyn. Undercity Zone and Piltover are now finally on good terms, and Sevika is the one who sits in the new council as the representative of Zone. So basically peace has been achieved, everyone is happy, and well, like I said, some characters died, like that one guy who helped Vi in season 2 a lot of times, who kind of also looked like Wolverine with his design, with like I already said, Professor Heimerdinger's fate is kinda ambiguous what happened to him. But yeah, all the characters are happy. All the characters found their place, found their purpose. Peace is achieved. The main villain, that Medarda, is dead. Mel is. I think one thing that last we talked about is Mel's subplot, because there's one more subplot that is gonna be, I think, important for the future. But yeah, everything is happening. Everything is fine. Everything is resolved. And that is amazing, perfect, conclusive ending. That is also so optimistic that. Was so overwhelmed what happened in the finale with all the insane things that was happening, but also how conclusive everything is, and that's such a beautiful ending. I haven't seen an ending in a while that is such a conclusive, definitive, but also beautiful and actually positive ending. Like that was such a beautiful ending to this amazing story, and while I'm still sad and salty that this amazing show has only 2 seasons, while other bad TV shows has more seasons, but I'm still happy that these 18 episodes are like complete story, and that ending is so satisfying. But what do you think about the ending? Do you also love the ending like I did?
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I think it was it was a good one. I know. Again, I can't remember exactly why some people didn't like it, but yeah, I loved it. It was perfect way. All the characters are where they need to be if they were wanting to bring them back. And yeah, it's a whole new thing, and yeah, it also opens up the spin-offs, which is nice.
Yeah, I think the ending is great.
Yeah, I feel like we all do, so that's great. So, Badarang TV mentioned spin-offs, so I think we should talk about one last thing that is important that will be, I think, set up for one spin-off, because I already mentioned that Medarda's daughter has also one more subplot in this season, because she at the beginning of the season survived, and we don't know how she survived that blast despite being in the front of the explosion. But she wants to rule out the corruption again, and she wants to expose her mother. But then she's kidnapped by someone or something that basically she said that thing says Black Rose, and she doesn't know what the hell is happening. And then we get that trippy now that she's trapped somewhere, and she meets her brother that she thought he was long gone, but then it turns out to be a hallucination or like kind of mind parasite. And then this whole thing revealed to him that Medarda, like I said, Medarda wants to have her army armed with Hextech because she wants to defend herself and maybe possibly destroy the secret society known as Black Rose. And it's not fully explained who they are, and we only see one representative of Black Rose, and it's she, and they are kind of like mind vampires or stuff like that, because I mean they're kind of also blood vampires, because one assassin from Black Rose that was sent out in Medarda used blood, basically manipulation, in order to subdue her. But as most of the manipulations happen inside of Mel's mind, and it's revealed that Mel actually has some magical powers, and she's half mage, so she can create force fields. She basically, like in the final battle where Caitlyn fights Medarda, Mel acts like a healer, or like Caitlyn attacks and Mel heals her and provides a shield. So it is kind of like RPG battle in this sense. So I think it is also a reference to a League of Legends game, how these characters usually interact with the battle, so it's kind of nice note to the video game. But no, but Mel actually seems to join up with Black Rose, because they say that Medarda betrayed them or something like that, and she kept the reason why her brother was killed. But then Mel sees through her lies and basically destroys one of them. But I think it's not clear if this was like their leader or just one of representatives of Black Rose, and we don't even see who they fully are. So since Medarda is dead, and Mel basically left the role of the council leader in Piltover in order to command her mother's army, the next spin-off will be that she will be hunting the Black Rose society, secret society, and she's gonna destroy them. And Black Rose kind of reminds me of Court of Owls, so I think Mel will have her time cut out for her if she would call up Batman and maybe Constantine, since Constantine also deals with a lot of supernatural stuff. And I think Black Rose is a lot of supernatural, because basically they kind of can do this mind parasite that they want to break their minds and extract information out of them and make them go insane. So it's like, so yeah, Mel's subplot in this is very interesting, and that will be maybe based for a spin-off that she could hunt down Black Rose society and finally destroy them once and for all. But like I said, she would call up Batman, and that would be easier job for her, and Constantine as well. But yeah, but what do you think about the subplot? And you think it would have been good spin-off out of it? What do you think about that?
Well, I don't really mind what spin-offs they do.
Yeah, I am. Yeah, I am excited for spin-offs. And yeah, it could be a number of things. But yeah, I am. Of course, I don't think it would be a top Arcane story. But it could. I know what the team on Arcane have done with Arcane, so maybe it could at the same time. But yeah, I am excited. Again, I'm probably get a lot more excited when we actually hear more news about it, because right now we barely know anything. But yeah, I am still I'm intrigued. Let's say that, intrigued by the announced spin-offs.
Yeah, me too. Especially like I said with that Black Rose subplot, I think that was one thing that I mean there are a couple of things that were left unfinished, because how conclusive ending is those. So there are some stuff that they are still kind of like left open. Like I said, Heimerdinger's fate, what happened to Victor and Jace, kinda. But most two things, like I already said that about that Black Rose subplot, but also about the reactor, because it was main point in season 2 that they were overusing Arcane's power and gods were not happy about it. So it's not clear if the reactor is shut down, is Hextech forbidden for that, or they just continue using Hextech. But since the main minds behind Hextech, they are now celestial beings, so they are not in the realm of mortals, so they could not make more of Hextech. So I guess the reactor was shut down and Hextech was forbidden, but still, it's kind of open end. So maybe they're gonna explore in the spin-off, but I don't know. So, but we'll see. So yeah, I think that's all the topics about season 2. So yeah, that's entire my thing about season 2. And I gotta say, I don't understand what people have against this season. This season is freaking incredible.
People have things against everything. That's the problem. They have hatred against everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, people.
It's just everything that they hate.
Yeah, exactly, and I think Arcane season 2 is just like one of the like season 1 also, but Arcane season 2 it might be like I didn't had that experience like last cinema experience or animation experience I had was Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse. After that movie, I wasn't the same hedgehog boy I was 2 hours ago when I was Across the Spider, because that movie also changed me fundamentally. It was such an amazing experience. I felt like I was on high on adrenaline or something like that, and it was such an incredible experience. I saw it I think 4 times, and with Arcane season 2 is again I haven't felt such an investment, such a deep connection, such a like experience, and really felt like I was connected to that show with those stuff from the Matrix that they used to connect to the computer. Like I felt so immersed in that, and I cried 3 times during this season. One, like first time was when Vi and Jinx hug the Vander when he remembers them. Secondly, when Vander remembers them in those animation, that kind of hand drums. Like holy crap, the animation is so beautiful in this season. And at the end, when of course Jinx sacrificed herself, but that was big troll from her. But never mind. So I wasn't invested in any show or movie, animated or live action for a long time. Okay, maybe since Sonic 3, but Sonic 3 is totally different beast. So I think aside from Sonic 3, Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse in 2023 was the last thing that truly changed me as a person and truly immersed me. Like I know I kind of sound pretentious, but it's true. I really felt tons of emotions really took a hold of me. I couldn't sleep throughout the night because I want to watch more of the episodes and was thinking what I would just watched, and I adore season 2. Season 2 was like amazing continuation of season 1 and perfect conclusion to this 18 episode storyline, and its storyline is concluded. Like this is impressive that while stories like Batman and other superheroes are like open-ended because Batman will never truly cure Gotham out of crime, otherwise there will be no more stories to tell. I mean they could just reboot it, but that will be easy, like logical way out. But Arcane, like I think in from
Easier said than done.
yeah.
Easier said than done.
Yeah,
It's
exactly.
easier said than
Yeah, exactly. But like with Invincible comics and it's now animated TV show, the Arcane League of Legends is complete story. It has beginning, middle, and end, and those spin-offs will probably expand this world. I mean, I don't know if they're gonna have any of the characters from Arcane, or maybe they're gonna show, maybe Jinx is gonna come back. Like that would be pretty cool, but I don't know if this will be a great show. I don't know. We'll see how, especially that like with Sonic movie spin-offs, we don't know anything about these Arcane spin-offs that are apparently happening, and since the animation, like I said, the animation between season 1 and 2 took 3 or 4 years to do, and while I understand people's frustration they had to wait that long, I kind of appreciate it, because when you look how Invincible season 3 looks, and that season was smashed out more than a half of a year later, and you can see because most of those shots were really bad and kind of like a PowerPoint presentation compared to the amazing art in Invincible comics, and Arcane took its time, and it's shown how this animation given time will look. I mean, so I hope because we're waiting for Beyond the Spider-Verse. I think, I don't know, at this point it will be almost 5 years or 4 or 5 years when Beyond the Spider-Verse like Beyond the Spider-Verse premiere is marked at 2027, so fingers crossed that they finally gonna release that animated movie that year. But yeah, I somehow now I admire more that the animation takes a while to do, because results then are magical experience, and Arcane season 2 was incredible in terms of animation, storyline, character development, and I just love everything about it. Season 1 is for me iconic and kind of nostalgic because it came out in 2021 when there was interesting time. That's more of what I can say. But season 2 is just like for me it was objectively better and more there's more character development, there's more storyline, it continues story from season 1 beautifully, and it ends on such a beautiful ending that I just can't describe fully what I feel about season 2, how much I love it. That's why how much I still love season 1, because that season 1 is also incredible. So yeah, I love season 2 so much. What more I can say, I think.
Yeah.
yeah, it's a flawless show. Flawless in every sense of the word.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. Definitely.
Yeah, I agree. If someone tells me that Spider-Man Across the Spider-Verse sucks, or Sonic 3 sucks, or Arcane is bad, I don't talk to those people because they don't know what the good shit is, because I love all those free things. And when you ask me in the first review, is Arcane the best anime show I've seen? Well, after season 2, I can confidently say yeah. If I would do like list of my favorite animated shows of all time, it will be like this. Number 2, it will be Batman the Animated Series and the Batman 2004, and first one, Arcane. Like, Arcane just aced out this entire my entire my inner list of TV shows, animated series I've ever watched. And I cannot describe happiness that I finally watched it. And I once again, I want to thank you two for finally getting me into this. And this show is gonna stay with me for a while. I already want to rewatch the show, and it's I mean, at first it's easy to do because, like I said, it's only 18 episodes, so it's nice, easy to watch rewatch this show, unlike the other shows where there's like 4 seasons and for 22 episodes for each season. So this one is easier to rewatch, but also it's like I already want to rewatch the last show that I wanted to rewatch already was Samurai Jack in 2017 or 2018, sorry, and Young Justice in 2017. So when I watched these shows for the first time, so that's not what usually happens with TV shows. I rewatch them only in like when I really love them and in big periods of time. But with Arcane, no, I already want to rewatch it again because this show is so rewatchable and so freaking good. I cannot.
Well, that's the thing. Well, that's the thing, Hedgehog. There, you will be rewatching this show over and over and over. Me and Batarang will be making sure that we will make you rewatch it over and over.
If we're stuck in this loop, you're stuck with us.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I will be watching this because when I'm gonna write that Batman Arcane fan fiction, that already announcing it, it's gonna be audio drama on this channel in the form of that Star Wars audio drama that you should check out. The link is in the description. Yeah, shady promotions aside, I really had an interesting time making audio drama about Star Wars, so hey, why not make Batman Arcane fanfiction into this? I'm gonna do basically a retelling of season 1 and season 2 with Batman being involved, like Batman following mostly his separate way, with him crossing over only at the end of season 1, and then season 2 will have him in a major role in those events. So the story will be similar, so if people should watch Arcane before they listen to my audio drama, because they will rely on people watching the original, because why would I remake the Arcane since it's perfect, and I just want to add some interesting stories into this 18 episode storyline. And like I said,
On the topic of fanfics,
Yeah.
I feel like the point is on the topic of fanfics, I will be doing my own fanfics. I have a few in mind. I will be doing a bunch of DC X Arcane stories, not necessarily set in the main Arcane universe, set in a slightly alternate one, but still features all the characters being the same way that they are, but then I'll crossing them over with DC characters. So I do have some like crossover ideas. If you guys see my community post for that DC X Arcane game idea, that's an idea for have like a Arcane Dark Knight's Metal. I have an Arcane X Flashpoint idea as well. So for that one, it's gonna be like when Flash has to do the Flashpoint, but then like he wakes up in a alternate world like he does in the comic, and everyone's different, including in Pelt over and Zon. But I'm not going to reveal the details of what all that be about just yet, because I want to make sure it all goes to plan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. So like I said, I will be watching Arcane definitely to get fresh scenes, the final scenes of season 1 and so on. But aside from that, oh boy, I became indoctrinated into Arcane, and honestly, I'm not complaining because Arcane is a masterpiece, and this is one of the best things I've ever seen, and I think I will see ever, and there never ever will be something like Arcane ever again, and I'm kind of glad for it, because Arcane, there's only one Arcane, and I freaking love that you guys got me into this fantastic show, fantastic. And even though if I don't play League of Legends, I really hope they're gonna make some games about it, which I was scrolling around PlayStation Network, like PSN store, and I found that one one game that was, I think, named Convergence or something like that. That was basically a platformer or side scroller that is, yeah, Convergence, a League of Legends story that is basically done in that animated style. And you play as Echo in that game, so okay, I will try that. And Battlefield TV said to me that it's gonna be 2XKO game. That's gonna be like,
Yeah, I am.
yeah, it's gonna be like a Street Fighter
Yeah,
game
I was.
with Arcane
Yeah,
characters.
I think that was me, but Mr. DC might. Yeah, that is like a fighter street like Mortal Kombat thing with Jinx, Echo, and Vi coming out sometime soon. So yeah, that's probably might be the only League of Legends game I'll play. But yeah,
Yeah, so I said I'm gonna check out this Convergence game, and I'll tell you how this game is, and definitely I'm gonna play that 2XKO in that game, because it's like a Convergence game came out in 2023 and in May, and 2XKO apparently is coming out this year. It's not has a release date yet, so I guess October or like December it is, but we'll see how that goes. And or November, maybe it's November, but it's like I said, November is the month of Arcane things, so maybe in November they're gonna release 2XKO, but we'll see. But I really hope someday they're gonna do Arkham style or Insomniac Spider-Man style open world game with Vi or Jinx or both of them. I don't know, that would be pretty sweet. Maybe hack and slash or brawler game also would be pretty nice, but like I said, the future is great. I hope that the Arcane's popularity is not gonna die down, because like I said, it's hard to find Kim Possible fans nowadays. I hope we gonna keep us three are gonna keep this fan base alive, even though Arcane is gonna fade away from public consciousness. I hope it's not gonna fade away, because I want to have same staying power like Batman or Spider-Man or Sonic, stuff like that. So yeah, but we'll see how that goes.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess that is all I had to say about season 2 of Arcane and Arcane League of Legends overall. Like, to sum up, I love Arcane so much now. I can't wait for Arcane season 2 Blu-ray to release and adding it to my collection. The best video game adaptations now are Sonic the Hedgehog 3 and Arcane, both seasons. I'm not gonna argue with people with that. It's just straight up fact, and everyone that doesn't agree with it doesn't know good stuff, okay? And in terms of shows, like I said, Arcane aced out all my top 10 best animated shows and shows overall I've ever watched, and easily top the animated series. And now I'm freaking adore Arcane, and I'm gonna turn this obsession into another content or another creative things. I'm gonna do drawings, fanfiction, audio drama already mentioned when I finish this story, and then I'm gonna look for people. So if anyone is interested, look at my community post for posts about casting call club announcement, and then I'll see you maybe on Discord, maybe someone else to do this project. And it's gonna be multi-part. I'm not gonna do 2-hour audio drama in one take. No, it's just too much. I'm gonna divide it into chapters, so it's gonna be long running stories. So look forward to that. And once again, I thank Mr. DC Gaming and Battlefield TV for joining me with talking about Arcane and getting me into Arcane overall. So like, you guys are the best. You guys changed my life basically, with me now being an obsessed fanboy of Arcane. I'm not gonna buy Funko Pops, poster and other stuff. So you created a monster, but I'm not complaining about that. So once again, thank you guys so much.
We've corrupted you to the dark side, but yeah, it's good. I'm happy we managed to get you on board,
Well,
because yeah. But yeah, we wouldn't have shut up until you actually watched the show. So yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, I think that is it. So, since everyone has said what they want to say, all I can say is watch Arcane League of Legends if you haven't. It's a masterpiece, and I will die on the hill defending season 2 and saying that this is the greatest thing that ever come out in terms of animated and fictional media. And like I said, I'm not dedicated League of Legends fan. This is just the beginning. I can't know what will happen in the future. But other than that, that is it. That is the end of this longer video then. So this video is now already longer than season 1, which only shows how much more I had to talk about season 2 than season 1. But like I say, I love both seasons equally. And yeah, that is it. So comment, and subscribe to me and Mr. DC Gaming and Barak TV, because those two guys deserve it, especially after they converted me into being Arcane fan. So like I said, subscribe to them. And see you all next time. And maybe with not Arcane related videos or Arcane related videos. We'll see how it goes. By the way, see you guys next time. And take care. Bye.
Bye bye, everyone.
Bye. Take care, guys.